Peace, this is your brother Jamal Brown, aka Mr. Black365. Today talking about Harriet. Harriet Tubman has been a hero, a shero, an icon, a legend in my opinion for several years. Did a lot of research on her before we put her into the first edition of the Black365 calendar that we published. Here she is again in the 2010 edition. We publish this calendar each and every year, 365 days of Black Facts. We're on the 11th edition. I re-upped on my research of Harriet before we put out the first edition of the Black History cards. Here she is in there. There's 52 cards with 52 quotations. Each quotation has a QR code that you can scan with your phone, and you can hear the quotation and set the music so it can get into your subconscious. All that good stuff is what that is found. What that's all about. You can find it at BlackHistoryCards.com, BlackHistoryCards.com. Again, we're going to talk about some of the things that the movie got right, got wrong, and we wish that they would have focused on a little bit more. One thing that stood out to me was that Harriet was from the Ashanti Nation, or the Ashanti tribe of Ghana. The significance there is that the Ashanti people have a tremendous respect and reverence for sleep and ancestral worship and ancestral veneration and communing with your ancestors. Harriet Tubman was not afflicted with epilepsy. I've read that in scholarly journals. She was not afflicted with narcolepsy. I've seen some writers say that she was paralyzed by fear. That is why she would just pause and lie down on the ground. But no, it's best the way I can attribute it is, you remember in Black Panther when T'Challa went to that realm where the sky became pink and purplish and he talked with his ancestors? That's what she was doing. That is how she found out those routes and byways and ways to navigate successfully. We'll talk more in the future about libations and ancestral veneration and what have you, but that is a fact that I want to share with you, is that, again, she was from the Ashanti Nation in Ghana. There are statues dedicated to her in Ghana. There are streets named after her in Ghana, and many more. What else? She made more than 12 documented trips to the north. That is amazing. She took boats, she took trains, she walked, all these things. When she was on trains, check this out, because there was wanted posters, dead or alive wanted posters for her. She was America's Most Wanted. She would take a newspaper with her because the wanted poster said that she was illiterate. So when someone's kind of eyeballing her on the train, she would put the newspaper up in front of her and pretend to be reading. When she was in Maryland, she would dress like a enslaved person, and she would have chickens with her. She would tie a string tightly around the chicken's legs and pull the string when someone was looking at her, and the chickens would get all flustered and again sort of obscure her face from view so that people couldn't see and recognize who she was and thought she was just some dumb slave girl. The mastery of this woman's mind cannot be understated. Truly a phenomenal sister. What else? Yes, she was married. The very first trip she took back to Maryland was to find her husband. Unlike how in the movie they met and they kissed and they talked and all that good stuff, not exactly how it went. She saw her husband through the window of their home, saw that he had a new wife, and then at that point she had no communication with him, simply turned around and went about the business of freeing her brothers and sisters and all the others that she went ahead and freed. The younger man, Brodus, the son of the overseer, there is nothing in history about him beyond the age of a teenager, not even to the age that he became a teenager. So him pursuing her and shooting at her and shooting somebody else and all that good stuff, completely made up. That's a Hollywood invention. That didn't exist. We don't know anything about again, the younger Brodus. We do know when he was a kid, he would go to the auctions to buy African people with his father. However, again, beyond him being a kid, we don't know anything about him. Which leads me to my next point of the other antagonist, the black man who was a bounty hunter and chasing her and all that stuff, 100% made up. There is no indication that there was ever any black bounty hunters that pursued Harriet. There were black bounty hunters. Very small few. But let me introduce a term to some of you, or reintroduce a term to others of you: meritorious manumission. Meritorious manumission. The root word there being merit. This is a concept, as an act actually in the year 1710. The state of Virginia passed the Meritorious Manumission Act that said that African people could be recipients of large rewards and given their freedom if they snitched on other people. So there were snitches way back then. However, again, we don't know of any snitches or bounty hunters that pursued Harriet. Lastly, real quick, wrapping up this video, again, she was the first woman to ever lead a Union contingent of armed people. She healed Union soldiers of dysentery, relieved their chickenpox symptoms and all that good stuff because of what she learned while she was on her travels. Harriet Tubman, truly, truly a phenomenal woman, master, legend, icon. The movie got some things right, got some things wrong. It's up to us to write our own stories. BlackHistoryCards.com is where we attempt to do that. Just do nothing but provide facts. We're going to do some more of these reviews. Drop in the comments below what we should call this segment, where we review movies and add some facts and bring a little bit of flavor and straight facts to these films. Drop a comment below and feel free to share this video.